We are very lucky, napakaswerte natin dahil kasama natin itong isa na namang napaka-importanteng speaker na tiyak na kapupulutan natin ng napakaraming knowledge and learning our uh, on on our realization of our roles as teachers and as personnel ng Department of Education. So siya po ay kakampi ng mga guro at ng mga bata, lalo na ng mga nagpapahalaga ng wika. Isang profesor mula sa University of Fukui at sa Nara University na kasalukuyang nakabase sa Japan. So napakalayo po ng pinanggalingan ng ating speaker. Ating ibigay ang ating mainit na pagsalubong sa ating resource speaker for today, kay Professor Pauline Mangulabnan.
Hello, maraming salamat po. Good morning sa lahat and thank you so much for having me here. Hindi pa rin ako ganun kasanay sa mga video conferencing. I still prefer to be with people like all of us. Pero yeah, let's see what we can do today. So let me just first share my screen. And I just want to check if it's going to work this way. Yep. Okay. So nandun yung screen. Lahat nakikita po, no? So basically what I really want to share today is some of the things that I've learned here in Japan that I think is possible in the Philippines. Some of the things na bakit nga ba in a way mas successful ang Japanese education system. Syempre hindi lang to dahil kung paano sila magturo, but that's a very, very big factor. Syempre yung sa atin, ang dami-dami pa titingnan, nandiyan pa yung history, nandiyan yung challenges, iba-iba. Pag kinontextualize mo siya, iba-iba pa rin sa bawat region. Nandiyan yung iba't iba ang ating mga lingwahe. But then, still, I still feel that kahit ang daming iba't iba sa Pilipinas, ito ay ating advantage. Advantage na pwede natin gamitin para mas ma-improve pa at para umunsad tayong lahat. So, I'll be sharing about inquiry-based learning and co-agency in the classroom / in the temporary learning environment, whatever modality you guys will be using in your own respective schools. Okay, so for the sharing today, you can ask me any questions at any time. Kung medyo mabilis po ako or medyo magulo yung sinasabi ko, just raise your hand. We have people also checking FB. So, pwede nyo rin po ilagay dyan and I'd be very happy to address some of your concerns. Hindi ko alam ang sagot sa lahat. Pero tingnan natin, we have experts in the room. We have Ma'am Donna, Ma'am Betsy, Ma'am Tinay, Ma'am Evans, Sir Ricky, everybody else that I know this time, hindi lang to time ko. Time nating lahat to para really magtulong-tulungan at mag-isip kung paano pa natin pwedeng i-improve yung mga bagay-bagay ngayon. So, interestingly, the expression building the plane as you fly has become increasingly really familiar across education. Kasi it captures that feeling of risk and uncertainty that we're all in right now as we're trying to innovate real time with actual participants, with our actual students, and not sure as to how things are really going. Right now, where are we? We're basically building the plane. We're rebuilding education as we are flying it. Parang, ano to? It's scary, right? And as I speak to more teachers in the Philippines, I kept on asking what are some of the things that are scaring you during this time. Especially, it has been decided that by August 24, the classes are going to start. Of course, andun si Manong COVID-19 na tinitest lahat sa atin ngayon, tinitest ang values natin sa family, paano tayo mag-juggle ng time, tinitest ang lahat ng alam natin ngayon para lang talaga so that we can reframe our old practices. Syempre andyan yung takot sa face-to-face, yung modules. I mean, we've been creating modules, we have the learning materials and all of those, but the question is, yung mga dati bang develop na learning materials, would it work? Yun yung nakakatakot doon eh. Marunong ba talaga akong gumawa ng module? At paano na ako magtuturo? Ang isa sa mga tanong sa amin dito sa Japan, especially that everything is getting really more technologically advanced, is in a few years' time, kailangan pa ba talaga ang isang guro? Kung, especially right now that we are in a knowledge-based society, ano ngayon ang role ng isang guro sa hindi na pagtuturo sa education ng mga bata? So, we have all of this, and then, ganitong klaseng mundo ang kung nasan tayo ngayon. Right now, with this accelerating globalization and a faster rate of technological developments, like what Ma'am Donna was saying, we're actually also facing a lot of unprecedented challenges: environmental challenge, social, economic, right now, health. And we're living in a world which is very hard to predict, hard to interpret, hard to analyze, and sadly, it's a difficult kind of world to cope up with. And for some of you, you might have heard it. We are living currently in a VUCA society, a very volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous society. Unlike before, that more or less we would know what's gonna happen next year. Ngayon, parang sandali, baka may bago na namang dumating. And so, it all then makes us question, so that we would be able to cope up with this kind of world, how should we reshape education? Kasi yung dating ways natin na pinamemorize natin sa kanila lahat, or enough na yung ganitong klaseng knowledge, pwedeng hindi na siya mag-work eh. Kasi hindi na necessarily yun yung knowledge na kailangan sa susunod na generation. So, let me share to you a video of how the new norm in education is being seen all over the world. So this is a video from OECD, a project that I am personally involved in. So, tingnan po natin, how is the new normal in education like?
As our societies evolve, so do our education systems. To answer this question and understand how traditional models are evolving, we looked at emerging features that may become the new normal in education systems around the world. What did we see? Traditionally, in education systems, decisions are made by a select group of people, and everyone has a distinct role. Students learn by listening to their teachers, teachers teach, and principals manage the schools. The curriculum is linear and standardized. Academic performance is prioritized, and students are assessed through standardized tests. How is this changing? Education systems embodying the new normal are part of a larger ecosystem where decision-making and responsibilities are shared among a wide group of stakeholders, and students are active participants in their own learning. In these schools, the learning process and student well-being are also valued in addition to academic performance. There is a recognition that students come from different backgrounds and learn in different ways. Learning happens in a non-linear process with different types of assessments used for different purposes. These schools are monitored no longer just to ensure accountability, but also to encourage frequent feedback at all levels to continually improve the education system. The future, by definition, is unpredictable, but by developing responsive education systems, we can help our children adapt to, thrive in, and even shape whatever the future holds. To find out how you can help too, visit our website.
Yes. So, as compared to the past education system that we had before COVID, ano na yung kailangan ngayon? Dati, ang school lang siya. Siya lang yung naging accountable for the education of the children. But right now, we belong in a bigger ecosystem. Like before, we could open the schools, we'll have to work with the barangays, we'll have to work with the health sector, we would have to work with the parents. So there is now shared responsibility. Dati kung si principal ang gagawa ng major decisions in the school, ngayon hindi na lang ganon. The principals would have to also listen to the teachers, and the teachers would have to work with the school heads to be able to at least give a direction of the education system. Dati it's okay, ito yung klase ng teaching, ito yung expected kong output. That's what we really value. But right now, it's no longer just that, but we are also looking at and giving emphasis on the process, the process of student learning. So at this time, as we look at that emerging education system and its features, we put an emphasis on the students' well-being. It's no longer just their cognitive development, but we also look at their emotional, psychological, or holistic development really. Let me just share to you na dito rin sa Japan, we do have an exam, a national exam given to grade 5 students, second year junior high school students. And the exam is not just on the academic subjects, but they also have a physical exam. So for the past 10 years, Fukui is always number one when it comes to health and fitness all over Japan. So, and that's actually one of, if you look at brain-based learning, it's very basic also that a healthy mind should be situated in a healthy body. So, hindi na lang tayo ngayon nakafocus on what is in the head. Also, this is the perfect time that we need to shift to a shared responsibility. And speaking of that, one of the main features of the Japanese education system that worldwide is being looked into is that idea of shared responsibility. Even before the pandemic, after the war, what the teachers here are doing what we call as lesson study. Basically, teachers across grade levels, different subjects, they sit together and study the students. Here, what you're seeing in the picture is an inquiry-based kind of integrated learning project that the students are doing, and the ones that are highlighted are the teachers. So this is student-led, but so that teachers would be able to understand better how to improve their own crafts as teachers. They study how the students are also behaving. So parang ngayon, in this presentation, I would try to show both worlds. Yung ang modality natin is remote learning, tapos yung isa na pag bumalik ulit sa classroom or pwedeng hybrid. Pero yung isa sa mga kinoconsider namin ngayon, especially with lesson study, although naka-face-to-face kami dito, is the teachers, because we're doing things online, would still talk about how, say, some students are answering, performing, or how they're reacting to the modules that are given. We'll go through that more later. So this is the time we're in. The teachers are also co-learners. Ay, hindi natin alam kung anong mangyari, anong kailangan. So the idea of co-agency actually is when the teachers and the students become both co-creators in the teaching and learning process. In the meetings that I've been having, even our classes here, the teachers would sometimes go like, I don't know kung ano na yung tamang dapat gawin ngayon. I'm not sure if the module I'm creating is enough or is it suitable for my students. And the answer I always give them right now is very simple. Go ask your students. Once they receive the modules, go pinpoint some students and ask them, anong part sa module na to yung medyo mahirap intindihin para sa'yo? You don't look at the content itself. Dun sa layout nitong module na to, alin yung masaya? Alin yung hindi nakaka-engganyo? Alin yung pwede pa kasigurong i-improve? By listening to the students right now, we're making them co-creators of that learning process. And this is what co-agency means, sometimes by asking the parents themselves also. After receiving this, ano kaya po yung pwedeng ma-improve? Of course, we cannot answer all of their requests, but we have to listen. Especially right now, that we would want the students to have a voice and a choice on how they would learn. So this is a time to strengthen collaboration. Mahirap lahat ngayon, but I'm very happy to see even dun sa mga Facebook pages that it's not just one teacher who has to create all the modules. Ngayon, may mga assignments na kung sinong gagawa, tapos i-share sa lahat. There's a new kind of collaboration which is emerging. Even for us, so for example, that meeting with OECD, these are teachers from all over the world, different researchers. We're saying that the advantage really is that we are being more connected, and because we don't know what to do, there's that that we would want to ask, we keep on asking. And so teachers are actually solving problems together, like what we're doing right now. Syempre may mga, because of some issues, especially with internet, with gadgets, some people are being left behind. But then, meron na hindi. So, how are these people na tayo, na may capacity, how can we now support the other teachers who are also struggling? So, it's the perfect time to actually rethink of how people are connecting. And an example that we had here in Japan, so just to give you a context, ang classes po namin ends in March and then it starts April. Kasi ang summer break namin is end of July to first week of September. So basically, the summer break is within the school year. So nung nag-lockdown kami, it was second week of March, 1 week before matapos. Tapos nag-start kami June 1. So basically, yung April and May, nawala. But meron din kami ang dami din namin ditong issues with internet connection. Well, more than connection really is availability dun sa mga bata sa bahay. Kasi lalo na dito sa Fukui, it's a province, hence hindi pa rin binibigyan ng gadgets ang mga bata not until they enter junior high school. So just imagine, pag biglang nag-lockdown, anong gagawin? And the teachers themselves are not really used to using technology. Even in the OECD study, the Filipino teachers are more equipped to use technology rather than Japanese teachers. So lahat ito, ano yung gagawin natin? So let me share to you one of the efforts of one of the schools I'm working with. During the lockdown. So by March, the classes were called off. The students were simply just asked to bring all things back home. And so the teachers had like, anong gagawin natin? How do we connect with students? Because that's very important. That's one role of the school here. It's really the teachers being like us, second parents to the students. The teachers started just, calling out the parents to give out instructions dahil nga hindi po tayo makakapagtuloy-tuloy. Ito yung textbook nila, dala nila, pwede bang guide them more or less to ensure na 8 to 10, ginagawa nila to. So the teachers rather calling out the parents, and also they're checking on the mental health of the students. After 2 weeks, kamusta dyan sa bahay nyo na hindi ka nakakalabas? Parang nagiging /guidance counselor yung mga teachers. By April, some of the teachers started connecting by posting videos. They were posting videos sa social media. Kami, line ang ginagamit namin dito instead of Facebook. And the teachers would then once in a while call the students asking, have you seen this video? What do you think of it? The children actually were very happy because they were seeing their teachers. Parang dati, gusto ba talaga ng mga bata nakikita ang teacher nila? Ngayon, yun yung na-realize. That the mere presence of the teacher in the classroom actually is correlated to the motivation of the students to set their minds to study. So yes po, maraming magagandang videos na lumalabas, but our teachers here, we have realized that the students need to see the faces of their teachers, no matter how clumsy the videos are. So during that time in April, when they were starting to create the videos, the teachers who are more used to technology are doing it, and the other ones are more, they're still doubting na, sandali, kaya ko ba yan? Dapat ba yan gawin? Hindi ba pwedeng, hindi ba enough na tinatawagan ko na lang yung mga bata ko? Binibigyan ko sila ng mga worksheets. I'm trying to. Pero nung little by little, nakikita nung other teachers, yung reaction ng mga bata dun sa videos, then a new community had emerged in the school, a community of teachers creating videos together. And then so by May, nung medyo, okay, ito na yung mga available videos, nakikita nila yung mga teachers nila, and then na-establish na kung paano gagawin yung synchronous and asynchronous kind of learning. Well, we're lucky, some of our schools, that we could actually lend iPads to the students. We could lend some computers to the students. Kasi yun yung ginawa ng Ministry of Education namin eh. Nagbigay sila ng emergency funds sa mga schools so that these emergency funds would be used to buy gadgets or say loads so that the students would have access. So from March to April, ito yung inaasikaso nila on top of these additional worksheets and videos. So ang nangyari, nagkaroon kami ng mga home sessions. Once a week lang siya or twice a week depending on the class and the grade level of the students. Because we're not in full lockdown, some of the students were then rescheduled to come to school just to see the teachers, but they have to be accompanied by their guardians or their parents. Okay? So, little by little, pinag-iisipan na yung transitioning back to face-to-face. So, kung merong grade 1 to grade 6, yung mga nagpunta na po dito, I'm sure you can imagine how it looks like. Secondary grade 1 to grade 6, tapos 3 students or 5 students, tapos naka-distribute sila for one whole grade, one whole day. So pupunta sila to give in the worksheets that they have finished, and then para lang ma-check din sila ng mga teachers. Yung mga malalayan tinitirahan, yun yung ginagawa na tinatawagan ng mga teachers. But basically, they're trying to little by little shift from no contact to contact. So probably this is one of the things that we could also think about in the Philippines when slowly we will be transitioning to face-to-face. During this time also that there are this homeroom synchronous morning sessions online, and also the students coming, ang tinuturo ng teacher more than the content during this time is yung bagong protocols or the health measures when they start coming to school. So by June, the students were already back under some kind of special schedule. So kailangan din baguhin, hindi pwede yung usual na schedule namin na first to second period. Yung cleaning time had to be reorganized kasi nga hindi pwedeng magtabi-tabi yung mga bata. Okay, from another school naman, itong school na to, Agad Junior High School, the students did not necessarily have internet. So what the teachers did was, uso pa ang DVD dito, to record the videos that they had taken or printed out the materials. Tapos inilagay lang nila siya sa labas ng school. Tapos, nakalagay din yung schedule. Aling materials, aling schedule yung dapat gawin ng suggestion ng school, dapat gawin ng bata. Tapos, nandun lang siya sa labas and the parents can come even at nighttime just to get a copy of it. So, meron kasing iba na talagang ang layo ng lugar, hindi mapupuntahan ni teacher, hindi madidistribute yung module sa kanila. So, yan. Nandyan lang siya sa labas ng school. Tapos, nandun na lahat ng information, and especially instruction for parents. Ang nakakatuwa actually with this school ay ang ginawa, ang Board of Education namin, parang regional or division, had prepared some videos. But then, the students did not give really a positive feedback on it kasi nga, okay, nakafocus siya dun sa content. Pero, wala yung sense of connection with the school. Kasi hindi ko naman school teacher yung gumawa nun. So these teachers have realized that actually what is important in the video, kahit clumsy siya, is that they were talking to the students. So these teachers, with the materials, the modules, would create a 2-minute video, a 5-minute video of themselves using their own cameras. Yun lang yun, cell phones. So may mga nahuhulog, may mga bloopers, lahat yun okay lang. Because one, it makes it feel more natural and real for the students. Second, the teachers are already bombarded with a lot of things that they have to prepare for. Na I respect those people who could create videos na sobrang colorful ang gaganda. I think that's very good. But we also have to take into consideration that our teachers right now have a lot of things to do. So ano yung makatotohanang video? And then we go back, para saan ba yung mga videos? So yeah, as we are building the plane, as we are flying it, or I'd say we're building the ship while we're already on board, thinking of the case in the Philippines, sa mas maraming ship pa rin yung ginagamit. You know, we also have to build it with parents when we speak of co-agency. The parents would also, and they are also on board in this effort in delivering education to their own children. So another thing that has to be discussed among teachers is that what is really the role of parents now in this education system? We also have to hear what are they afraid of. Ang dami ko ngayong nababasa ng mga articles na ang tingin nila sa remote learning ay homeschooling. Remote learning and homeschooling are still two different things. But we also have to, you know, as we try to connect with the parents, we also have to tell them what are we expecting from them so that we open this communication line. And what can we do with the parents? So I'll pause for about a minute and please try to reflect on this. How have you connected with the parents? You could probably write it down in the chat box dito po sa Zoom or sa Facebook Live. As you share this, then the others would also get some ideas kung paano sila pwede pang mag-connect sa mga parents. Or yung mga ayaw pong mag-type, you can just unmute yourself and share. How have you connected to the parents?